Welcome back to redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. I'm your host Mikey. Today's tutorial we're going to work on the wavy long wristers. You will be so shocked on how easy these are. I'm going to be showing you some different techniques in it. Do you see that there's really no slip stitch anywhere? That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you how to cheat the system that is not in the pattern so that you cannot see where you stopped and started. And that's just, you know, being experienced and being able to show you that. We're also going to be doing today is that you see different colors, and I know myself is like you don't want to change colors all the time. You don't want to weave in your ends. I'm telling you right now, you don't have to. These yarn pieces never change, and so when you're looking at the inside, you'll notice that the yarn is just carrying over from one row to another. So you don't have to cut any strings. It's really good, and let me tell you a little bit more about this in just a sec. Today's pattern is very easy, but you'll be very surprised to know that this is not just like a tube sock that you're putting onto your hand. It actually has some shaping to it. When we go to work on it, we're going to be working on it up here, and this is where your fingers are popping out. You'll see that there is a thumb hole just like so, and so we're going to work from the top, so the end of your hand, all the way down to the elbow area. You will notice that it's going to be changing shape a few times within it so that it keeps the contour of your hand. Now if you saw the model, you'll see that it fits her hand really easily and really quite form-fitting, and that's because the designer has changed it. Now today's pattern here is using the heads up, and this is a brand new yarn line by redheart.com. It's new as of 2014. If you can't find it in a retailer near you, you can always go on to redheart.com to place your order. Now you should know that this yarn is very unique, is that it's not 100% acrylic. It's 80% acrylic, 20% wool. Therefore it has like warm properties to it. You'll also notice that it's a bulky weight. So if you're going to substitute for this particular project today, you're going to want to make sure that it's a bulky weight in order to keep the sizing proper. So without further ado, let's get started, and I'll show you how easy it is to make one of these wavy long wristers. So here's what it looks like on my hand. It's kind of funky, isn't it? Fluorescent is the thing right now. Fluorescent, not the whole body, head to toe and fluorescent, but a little bit of accessories, and why not? You only live once, right? So today you'll notice that there's V stitches just like so. When they are compressed together, meaning that I don't have this all the way pulled up to my elbow, you'll notice that all the V shapes kind of sit into each other and really makes for a nice comfort. Now remember, in warmth, that sometimes the air pockets that keep the warmth, it's not necessarily keeping everything, you know, really snug. So depending where you live, it makes it really easy. So what I'm using today is the heads up, and I'm going to be using a size 5mm, size H, but the pattern calls for a size 5.5mm, size I. The reason why I have substituted is that I know that my yarn, for example, I know that my tension is a little bit looser than normal crocheters, so I just reduced my hook in order to have a shape, because I knew if I used the right size that my glove probably will not fit me like a glove. So without further ado, let's get started now. Let's start off with our first color, and I want to leave a little bit of an extra long string so I can weave that into the end. This is going to be the very top of your hand right here, and that's going to move backward towards your elbow. So because of that, we want to make sure that we can hide this loose end in very nicely. So leave an extra long tail. Let's begin with our slip knot and slip in our hook, and we need to chain 24. Remember that the one on the hook never counts as 24. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Please go all the way to 24, and I'll meet you back here in just a moment. Now that I have my 24 on my hook, I'm just going to stretch out my chain, and I want to make sure it's not twisted, and I just want to make sure then I join it. Now you'll see in the instructions that it will ask you to do a slip stitch marker or a stitch marker. I found with this pattern you don't really need it because you can actually see what is going on, but again, that's personal choice. So to bring this together, we're just going to bring the yarn through and through, and there is your very first ring, and this is the very edge of your fingers, so your fingers will actually go through this particular loop just like so. Using the same color, we're going to start and do these V stitches, and this is how we're going to do it. It's called actually a V stitch if you really want to be technical. So we're going to start off with chaining of 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and in the rules of crochet that counts as a double crochet slash chain 1. So just envision that, and we're going to double crochet exactly where you joined. Okay. So that is one of the V stitches, just like so. Just bear with me, it does work out. So what I want to do then is that I want to continue along. So we're going to skip 2 chains and go to the 3rd, and we're going to go a double crochet again, just like so, and then chain 1, and then double crochet into the same one. So that's basically the repeat pattern for this whole thing. So again, skip 2 stitches, 1 and 2, go to the third and do it again. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and please do that all the way around. I'll meet you back in just a moment. If you're gonna screw up at this point at the end, I'm gonna show you how to cheat the system because we have to make sure this stays in balance at this time. So I'm coming all the way back around, and how do I know that I'm done? If you look at the instructions, it says at the end there will be 8 repeats. Therefore there should be 8 of these V-stitches. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Just like so. So what you want to do then is that we want to join it to the actual gapping space. So this is my own technique that I'm showing you to avoid having any slip stitch marks within your items as we go into change color, because we're going to change color in just a moment. So what I want you to do is that I want you just to go into the gapping space into the first V, grab the yarn, pull through just like so, and when I come back I'm going to show you how to add on the next color. We're never going to cut this, so please do not cut your yarn at this time. I'm going to grab my secondary color and I'm gonna just leave an extra long tail so that I can deal with that after as well. This is the very beginning of it and we're never gonna cut this until the very end. So what I want you to do is just put a slip knot onto your hook, pull that through the loop. Now the reason why I'm asking you to do this is that, and here's my own technique on what I'm getting you to do, right where I slip stitch into this, I want you then just to stick your hook into the hole and grab that yellow and pull it through like a slip stitch. Like so. And what that's done is that it makes it look like this whole thing is uniform as you go all the way around. I did try using the pink, and then I found I had one stitch that looks a little awkward. So when I did it like this, it makes a lot more sense. So we're going to begin, let's begin round number 2, and we're just going to simply chain up 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we're going to go into the same space. Now what I just do is that I trap these strings all underneath for this particular gap only. Okay, so it's just a double crochet, so there's your V-stitch, and now I'm gonna make sure that these are out of the way in behind. Okay, so please do not run over those again, because you got to make sure that that pink is gonna be available to you next time you get back up to this round. So what we're going to do then, in between all of the V-stitches, so here's the V-stitch there with the chain 1, we're just gonna simply just repeat what's going on. So we're just gonna double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into that one. Okay, so you go to the next V-stitch, so double crochet, whoops, excuse me, so we're just double crocheting, chain 1, double crochet, and you just do that all the way around. This keeps the stitches in balance because you're working into the same spaces every time. Okay, so just double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Please do that all the way around. When we come back I'm gonna show you the next round up as we go. Okay, we're finishing up round number 2. Here's a V-stitch and here's one more left before we are back at the beginning again, and then of course it's a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So I'm gonna show you how to change the colors back to the pink again. So we're just gonna immediately just go into the first gap, so we're just gonna stretch over, pull this through and through. Okay, so what I want you to do now is that I want you to grab the pink that is leading to the yarn ball. You'll see a straggler at this point, just ignore that, and I just want you to grab the other pink one that is going to the yarn ball like so, and you're going to pull that through. But you're not done. You want to make sure that you do a slip stitch around into that same gapping space. It makes a huge difference, and you want to make sure that you're going to trap that yellow in there as well, so it's underneath. So just pull through like so, and that was not very graceful, let me tell you. So what I want to just do is back out, just pull all the strings back again, and just redo that one more time. I want to make sure that we get this right the very first time, because you don't want to have any kind of accident. So I'm going to leave this in the tutorial. So we got the pink on, we're just going to go into the gap and pull through and through. So do you see how when we did that, see how this yellow kind of matches up? It makes it look the same. If I would have not done it like this, you'll see that this area right here would be wrong. So let's move up to round number 3. It's a repeat, so we're just going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then going into the same spot again for a double crochet, and then every V-stitch is getting the same thing. So make sure this is out of the way as we continue to do that. So it's just double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into each one of the tops of the V-stitch, and you can see that the V-stitches all just line up with each other, just like I showed you how they compress when it's not stretched. Just have to visualize it like that in order to keep yourself in balance. So please do round number 3 and I'll meet you back up in just a moment, and then the game plan changes in round number 4. Okay, completing round number 3, I've just had my last V-stitch in, and I'm just going to insert it into the next one here, pull through, and now let's drop that pink down in the back, grab up the yellow and pull through like so, and let's complete that off so that it looks balanced. So we're just gonna go into the same gapping space like so and just grab that same yellow just to make it look like it's balanced. Okay, so let's begin round number 4. Round number 4 changes at the end of the round. So let's begin first. So we're going to chain 4, and I'm gonna stay with you for the complete round forward to watch with you. I just double crocheted in to complete the V, so everything is remaining the same. So we're just gonna V-stitch into each one of the V's. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So what we're doing now is that we're gonna be adding a thumb space at the end of this round, and that's pretty easy stuff to do. So just continue to V. I don't have any good jokes to share with you as we go around, sorry. Okay, so we're just V'ing into each one. You know, like that movie, that show as a kid used to scare the crap out of me. The V, I think it was called, with the aliens that had these human bodies. Oh my god, it scared me. So let's go, we're continuing to V around. And then I think there was a remake of it, but I never really believed the remake. It obviously got canceled too because it wasn't that great. Maybe I am telling jokes. Okay, so we're gonna V all the way around, and you're gonna go into the very last V before you start to come to the very beginning again. So here's what we're going to do, is that once you get your last V in, we want to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're making room for the thumb, and now we just come into this gapping space again. Let's slip stitch it together to form the round, and let's drop it, and let's bring back our pink up, and now we're ready for round number 5. Okay, round number 5, we're gonna start up immediately. I had you do this already with grabbing the new color. Let's grab it. So we're gonna chain 4 and V into the same one underneath, just like you see here. So you can actually see, this is what happens when you screw up. So this is what I want to show you. I never see how I never did a slip stitch into that gap. That's why I had you do that, because when you don't do that, it doesn't look right. So just slip stitch into the gapping space first. See how different that looks? And then chain 4. Sometimes it's good to show errors so that people can understand, you know, exactly, because you don't really see that their slip stitching is going on. So let's just move this yellow out of the way in the back, and we're gonna V all the way around, except for when we get to the thumb, we're gonna just change up the storyline a little bit. So I'll follow you to there, and I still don't have any great stories to share with you. This pattern was on the homepage of redheart.com when the website got relaunched in, I believe it was August, and you'll notice that the woman with the brick wall, and she's quite pretty, and she was wearing a set that's purple and blue, and I thought it would be a lot harder than it was, and so I just grabbed a hook this afternoon, and of course I was very surprised. I shouldn't have been, but I was. So there you go. And I come out and I have the last V before this thumb. So let's continue to V in the V. And so here is where the game plan is going to change. You need to do 2 more V's into this. So basically this is making room for your thumb, because if you look at your thumb, you see how it gets bigger in behind? So it's making room in order to do that. So we're gonna V twice into the same gapping space. So that was 1, and then we're gonna do it again. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then we're going to just join it back to where we started, and that completes off round number 5. Let me just slip stitch like so, grab the yellow, get it ready, and then when I come back I gotta make sure I slip stitch that back in to that same gap in order to carry on. So let's join me back at round number 6. So round number 6, let's go. We have the yellow in, but we need to slip stitch it to this gap, first V gap first, to make it look consistent, which it does now, and then we chain 4, 1, 2, 2, 3 and 4, and then V back into that same spot. Okay, so this whole round here, even though you got V's now on this thumb, you're going to put a V into every one of them. So this is a very easy round. You know, there's no counting. Just put a V into every V as you go all the way around. When we come back, I'll be all the way around, and then we'll carry on to round number 7. Okay, finishing up round number 6, here is the V over top of this thumbnail space, or this thumb space. Just remember, keep them together and make sure you're going into the middle of both of them with another V. And this is establishing the pattern to be bigger, to go over the back end of your thumb right about there. Okay, so one into each, one V into each V, like so. And then we're just going to join it to where we started, like so. Let's grab our pink back up, put it onto the hook, pull through, and then we're ready now for the next round, which is round number 7. Let's begin round number 7. I want to make sure I slip stitch into this V first to create that illusion of it being continuous, and then I'm going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and please V into almost every one of these. We want to continue to go around. Just follow me around at this time, and we're going to do a V every one of them except for the final last 2. Now if you remember, the last 2 we were just over top of the thumb. We're now going to start doing a decreasing move, and you don't have to burn any brain cells. It's really easy. We're just going to start skipping over some steps in order to make the decreasing happen on its own. Now you have to really trust in this pattern. It does work. I was kind of second guessing. I'm like, what is she saying? And then I realized, you know what, don't trust don't question the designer, just do it kind of thing. You have to give faith sometimes, and that this is exactly one of those patterns that you do that on. So here we go. Let's continuing along. So we're just looking for over top of the thumb, or you just look for the last 2 V stitches that are available, and that's where the storyline is going to change. Okay, so it says to look for the last 2 repeats, and there you go. So you have these 2 left. So what we're just going to do is 1 double crochet into the middle, and then 1 double crochet into the next middle. That's it. That's how you just decreased, and then we're just going to join, slip stitch, grab the yellow back up on the outside, and let's begin round number 8. Let's begin round number 8, and we have our yellow up, but I want to make sure I slip stitch into the V stitch gap first to keep the consistency looking good, and then chain 4. And then we're going to do V stitches into almost every one of these. We're going to do some double crochet decreasing at the end of this revolution as we go all the way around, but at this time I just want you to put in V stitches matching into each one until we get to those double crochets at the very end that we just did. Okay, so V into V. See how easy this pattern is? I was really surprised. I was looking at her gloves and I thought to myself, gee, there's got to be a lot more to it. It's just a visual look of the waves, and I think it's awesome. So we're just going to continue to go all the way around. So right where we have those 2 double crochets that are standing alone, we're going to pull a decreasing move on those to bring them even more closer together. And here's the kicker of this whole thing. Do you remember how we started off when we had right over here we had a group of 8? We're coming back to that now by doing this particular move. So there's the last V here, and there is the 2 standing by itself, and we're just going to put in a decrease. So we're just going to go into the stitch, so go into the double crochet, grab the yarn, pull up, pull through 2 and hold that on your hook. Let's go to the next one, into the next one, pull up, pull through the loop. Now you have 3 on your hook, pull through all 3, and then that concludes that one. So we're just going to join this with the starting like so, and let's grab our pink back up, and that concludes round number 8. So that you can see now the shaping is actually starting to take shape. So you can see this is the end of your hand, this is your thumb, and you can see that it's coming more narrow as it comes back down to your wrist area. So let's begin rounds number 10 all the way to 13. So there's actually 4 revolutions at this time, and I'm just going to start you off, and then I want you to do the rest off camera. So remember, we're just going to start, slip stitch the pink through so it looks consistent, and then do your chain 4. So for rounds number 10, 11, 12, and 13, all you're just going to do is then in the V-stitch into each V-stitch, making sure you're changing the colors for each revolution as you go around. You're not decreasing, you're not increasing, you're just continuing to go all the way around, and that would be 10, 11, 12, and 13. Please do that now, and when I come back I'll be on round number 14, and we're gonna start doing some increasing because this is coming back down, and then we're gonna be moving up our arm where it gets thicker as we start going up toward the elbow. By the way, I'm just finishing up round number 10. I want to show you here. Remember when we did the 2 together? You're just going to completely skip over that. So you got your V-stitch and the V-stitch. Skip that and just immediately join like so. Okay, so you just skip that whole section right there. So please do that, and I'll meet you back on round number 14 next time for sure. Okay, let's begin round number 14, and I've already started and I have the color up, but I have to do my slip stitch first to keep the color looking. See, you don't see any slip stitching. So let's begin. We're going to chain 4 and then V-stitch into each V-stitch going all the way around. Now round number 14 is about increasing, and we have to do round number 14 again in the future, but what we need to do is that we need to get rounds number 14, 15, 16, and 17 in before we repeat. So this is getting it to be slightly bigger. This is an increase round, but we're going to increase on the very last section before we do join with the slip stitch like so. So we're just going a V into a V. Very quick and easy project, really. I was really surprised how fast it went. I've done other wristers where it didn't take this, where it took much longer, but this is actually pretty cool. The advantage to this as well is that because it is wool, it's going to have warm properties to it, so that you're not going to look fabulous but freeze. You know, they say fashion can be painful, but you know, this is not one of those. So let's continue to V into each V, and then we're coming all the way around. We want to make sure that we don't mess up that other color. We don't want to secure it anywhere else, the yellow I mean, and we're going to V all the way into the very last V. And this is where the game plan changes. We're going to do a slight increase at this point. So it says right in between the slip stitch here. So right here's the V-stitch, here's the V-stitch. We're going to go right in between, and we're going to put another V-stitch, and this is going to increase it by 1 V all the way around, and that's round number 14. And we're going to join like so. Grab the yellow up, drop the pink, and let's begin to do round number 15. Okay, let's begin to do round number 15, and we're just going to, I got the yellow in, but I need to do my slip stitch first to make it look consistent, and then we just chain 4, 3, and 4, and we're going to do a V-stitch into each V-stitch going all the way around. So this is one is a no-brainer. So rounds number 15, 16, and 17, so the next 3 rounds are the exact same. So I'm going to expect you to do that off camera, and then when I come back we're gonna review round number 14 again, because we have to repeat round number 14, 15, 16, and 17 after we get that particular one done, and then basically you are all finished for this glove. So please, at this time we are doing rounds number 15, 16, and 17, and when we come back I'll meet you back up on rounds number 18, which is a repeat of round number 14. Isn't that confusing? Just trust me. So just do rounds 15, 16, and 17 at this time. So I'm back again, and rounds number 15, 16, and 17 are done, and now let's start off with round number 18 to 21, and if you look in the instructions it's a repeat of 14 to 17. So this is crazy, right? It's fun. So this is the final stages. So on this one here we're going to start off with round number 18, which is a repeat of round number 14. So that means that we're going to just start off with the V as normal. I did that slip stitching thing without really mentioning it to you because I think you're catching on by this point. And so I'm just gonna V all the way around, but we need to increase again because we're getting closer and closer to your elbow as we work up. So we need to increase this round as we go all the way. So no big deal. So V into V, and essentially round number 14 had us put an extra V in between the slip stitch and the final V stitch when we got there. So I'm gonna show you that in just a second. Getting all the way around. Now I'm starting to speed up and drop my stitches. Oh man. So let's continue along. So let's keep going. Just gonna switch. It's getting bigger and bigger. Now I really thought when I looked at this pattern that it was more like a sock where it doesn't change its diameter, but I was really surprised that it does change, because it really means that it's gonna shape better to you. There's some designers that just like socks and just hopefully it stretches properly and holds its shape, and I really liked how this one wasn't like that. So V-stitch into each as we're coming all the way around. So I got one left, but this is a repeat of 14, so this means after this V is in, we're gonna add another one in between the gapping spaces here. So this is a V and V here, we're gonna put another one right there. So like so, and this completes off round number 18, which is a repeat of round number 14. Let's join like so, bring up the yellow, and let's just get this puppy done. So I have my yellow now, we're ready for round number 19. Round number 19, so let's just join with this slip stitch here. We have it in and 4. So 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, and 4, and then V. So basically the final revolutions of this 19, 20, and 21 are all just V-stitch into the same V-stitches around, and that's it. This is completely done. So I'm going to leave that for you, so please do these rounds. So this is round number 19, do 20 and 21, and when we come back then I'll just show you how to fasten in the ends so that you don't have it falling out when you're wearing them. So please do that, and I'll see you in just a moment. Okay, I'm finishing up round number 21, which is the final, and we just want to slip stitch and pull it together just like so. So let's start. We're gonna just trim off our yarn, and I'm just gonna start off with the pink one first because that's where I am. And just gonna trim, and I'm just going to put the yarn through the final loop and just pull through like this. Okay, I want to trim the yellow as well, just being very generous with it. And what I want to do is I want to start off with the pink, and we're gonna do this on both sides, and so I'm just gonna show you the one side just because it's the same. So we're just gonna slip our yarn through a darning needle, and remember that in order for anything to fall out, in order for anything to follow, it can't be secured that great. So you have to make sure that you're gonna go in 3 different directions. So you're gonna go underneath the strings and out, 1, okay, go back but go through a different area of the fibers for 2, and going back into a different area again for 3. So the yarn can never move in 3 directions at one time, therefore this will be permanently in a position and you'll never see it. Like so. So then we do the same thing with the yellow in behind, so let's just fold it out like so, and we put the yellow onto the darning needle. Like that. And we just glide it through the yellow area only. So just glide it through. Don't glide it across the space because you will see it, so just glide it where the yarn continues to go through. So 1, and then back in to a different space for 2, and going back again for 3, like so. I love how this pattern, you never had to change the yarn throughout the whole thing. So like so. So that's what we want to do, and therefore you have a perfect finish on the end, and this is up by the elbow, and now I'm just going to again do the same thing on the other side here for the pink. And that concludes off today's tutorial. Thank you so much for joining me, and on behalf of redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd, please enjoy your wavy long wristers. Compliments at redheart.com.